Over 10 days in October, I drove an ET5 touring approximately 4,000 kilometers across 3 provinces and back. I drove on highways, through city traffic, and on windy, worn-down country roads. I tested NIO's autonomous driving for about 2,000 kilometers. I tested the NIO phone. I visited 2 NIO Joy partner restaurants, and I explored a gorgeous NIO power journey. When I needed power, I swapped the battery in the car 8 times, and I charged the car a total of 5 times. I slept in the car on 3 different nights, utilizing camp mode, and I left Xiao Easy in the car and let her try out pet mode. I tried a variety of NIO Life accessories and even ate some NIO snacks. Shoot, I even tested out NIO's AR glasses. In short, I used the NIO ET5 touring in about as many scenarios and with as many NIO products and services as possible in just 10 days time. And in the end, I have come to the conclusion that while the NIO ET5 touring may not be the best NIO on paper, it is absolutely, hands down, my favorite NIO so far. In this review, I will share with you why I feel that way. I will tell you everything I love about the car, a few nitpicks I have as well, and why you should definitely consider this car the next time you go shopping for an EV. Before we get started, remember, if you are interested in trying a NIO for yourself, scan this QR code and take a test drive if you are in China, or enter my invitation code if you are in Europe. We will both get bonus NIO points, and you will get a nice experience trying out a brand new car. Also, make sure you hit subscribe on my channel right now, because you never know, you might forget to do it later. The ET5 touring that I tested was the Sunbathe Yellow with a violet interior. If you are a Los Angeles Lakers fan, this will absolutely be your pick. I personally love the yellow, but I would probably go with a black interior if I was outfitting the car to my own personal tastes. The car that I was driving also had a few other options selected, such as the intelligent dimming roof, which I really liked a whole lot during the bright days with overhead sun in tropical southern Yunnan. My car also was outfitted with the inbox, which allows the use of NIO in-real AR glasses if you are into that sort of thing. Up to 4 pairs of AR glasses can be worn simultaneously. Well, not by one person, so I guess not simultaneously, but you know what I mean. It also had the Moon package with a darker kind of pewter logo, as well as orange brake calipers, Nomi Mate, and the ventilated and massage seats comfort package. This means that the ET5 touring that I was driving would cost about 288,000 RMB or 39,000 US dollars out the door, plus 1,680 RMB or 230 US dollars per month for battery as a service. If you were to buy this car with the battery outright, the price all up would be 416,800 RMB or 57,000 US dollars. But of course, there would no longer be a monthly battery service fee. In China, if you buy this car, even with purchasing the battery outright, you can still utilize the power swap stations. If you were to buy this car with the absolute bare minimum specs for the bare minimum price, it would start at about 31,000 US dollars with a 130 US dollar per month battery service fee. Now that we have spec'd out the car, let's take a look at why I like this car so much. First, I think we've got to start with how it looks. I think generally speaking, NIO's entire vehicle range has a very slick, modern design language that I really appreciate. The original NIO ET5 is arguably NIO's most beautiful car, but I think that it puts form over function in a number of ways. With the ET5 touring, however, it might be a little bit less sexy, but the added functionality inherent in the wagon form factor, as well as a few additional features, more than make up for it. The ET5 touring is definitely not the ugly stepsister of the ET5. I would say that it's more like the slightly less pretty, but way more intelligent stepsister. So sure, the car looks pretty, but ultimately, that's not the most important thing. What you want is a car that's built well, that you can rely on, that's comfortable. And thankfully, you'll find that even though this is the cheapest NIO around, it still has the attention to detail that you would expect. Solid build quality, soft materials throughout, comfort, it's all there. You won't notice any awful misaligned panels or massive gaps. You won't hear rattles and hisses and shakes when you're going over bumps. You've also got tons of safety features as standard, from blind spot warning to the live image feed when you're indicating, to a 360-degree camera, and even the transparent chassis. Everything that you would expect from a comfort and safety standpoint, even in the most affordable ET5 touring option, it's all included as standard here. Before we delve deeper into this review, I want to take a step back for a minute. I think at this point you all know that I like NIO as a brand. I enjoy their products, I enjoy their services. They've done nothing but treat me very, very well from when I was a user to now. And NIO specifically loaned this car to me to test out their NIO Power Journey and to share that with you, because NIO Power Journeys are coming to Europe very, very soon. Now, I'm probably slightly biased in favor of NIO in the sense that I've had nothing but good experience with them and with their cars. But the reason why I'm making this review now, after I've already posted long, unedited clips of NIO's autonomous driving, and I've already posted about the power journey, and I've already posted a highway range test, and various other clips of my experience with the car, is simply because I don't want you to take my word for it in this review, because, you know, I am probably biased. What I would actually want you to do is go back and check out those other videos and see for yourself everything about the entire NIO ecosystem and the experience of living with the car that I will only touch on briefly here in this review. I think it's important to get the whole big picture. And even then, after you watch all those and you watch this review, if you're interested in NIO or the car, of course, remember to go and use my invite code and do a test drive for yourself and see if the car and the brand speaks to you as much as it does to me. Moving on. I absolutely love the feeling of driving the ET5 Touring. To me, it's an ideal shape, an ideal form factor, wide body, close to the ground. You feel like you're going fast even when you're just going at a regular speed because it's not a big, floaty SUV, but it's a sporty ride. It hugs every turn and it really lets you feel the road under the tires. Driving this car, even over very long distances, is very comfortable. On both the first day and the last day that I had the car, I drove over 1,000 kilometers respectively. What I found is that the suspension, the seats, it's all soft enough to be comfortable, but the car itself still felt very agile and very fun on mountain roads and accelerating through turns and out of turns in Sport Plus mode. It handles closer to a Tesla Model 3 than to a NIO ET7, but the materials and the comfort in the car are actually closer to a ET7 than they are to a Model 3. It's kind of the best of both worlds of sporty and comfort. However, that being said, if you are looking for a supremely comfortable ride, extremely comfortable seats, not a sports car, but a luxury comfortable car, this is not the car for you. This car does not glide over potholes. It kind of chews them up. It is never uncomfortable, but you will definitely feel the bumps. Even after full days of driving, I still felt good. I'm old, I'm almost 39 now, but my back and my butt, they didn't ache when I got out of the car after sitting for 4 hours. And this, I gotta say, is a continued improvement in NIO seats versus their first gen cars. As much as I thought the EC6 that I used to own was comfortable, after a long day of driving, sometimes I'd get out of the car and I'd go, oof, dang, my back hurts. Not often, but sometimes. The massage function in this car is strong and it offers a wide variety of settings. The ventilated seats were perfect for hot weather driving. To be honest, I did not test the heated seats. I hope it's better than the ET7, which are not very strongly heated. But hey, it was like 35 degrees Celsius, so I didn't really give that a shot. Visibility out the back and to the sides is great. I didn't ever see or feel any unsafe blind spot, which again, compared to my old EC6, is a big improvement. I fully understand that these cars are wildly different shapes, and because of that, they're going to have different visibility options, but it makes a very big difference to feel that you can see any car that may be preparing to barrel into you at any time. Even the seating position for the driver is a massive improvement over the standard ET5. There's more headroom, a lower seating position, and less obstruction from the rear view mirror. Fantastic, huge, massive improvement. During my 10-day journey, I had different configurations of travel partners and of luggage. There were times when it was just me and the dog. There were times when it was 2 people and the dog, 3 people, and even one day when we had 4 people and a dog. I can't say that any of us ever felt cramped. The second row has both ample leg and headroom, and the boot has 450 liters of storage with the seats up. Now, I have seen some talk online that for a touring wagon, there's not enough space. I didn't find this to be the case. I thought there was plenty of space. Of course, everybody has different needs. I cannot speak for you. But to me, even with 4 people and a whole bunch of luggage and a whole bunch of NIO Life accessories, all kinds of stuff, we never felt the need to start carrying packs on our laps or to compromise on our comfort, even the passengers in the second row. If you have a massive baby stroller and huge suitcases and your skis or your snowboard or your surfboard, whatever, I suppose then maybe you should probably get a big SUV. But if you know how much space that the car has, you know how much space you need, then you can easily pack in plenty of belongings for multiple people on a 10-day cross-country road trip just like I did. I really like the functionality and the other touches that just make this car comfortable and fun and youthful, such as the gorgeous customizable ambient lighting and the even more amazing flashlight in the boot. You can always customize your experience even more with tons of different NIO Life products that you can both buy with points or with cash money, whatever suits your mood and suits your needs. You know, it's very funny. When NIO launched in Europe, they launched with a subscription service instead of purchasing the car, right? And they said, flexibility is the new premium. And I think they were right about that in the sense that the flexibility that the ET5 Touring offers feels very premium. Maybe they were a little bit wrong that subscription offers only is premium, but the ET5 Touring, even if the materials and the comfort aren't as premium as other NIOs like the ES8, the flexibility, the functionality of this car definitely feels premium. So now that we know what I like about this car, what are the few things that I think could be improved on. The first complaint I would have probably comes to the range, which I find just simply adequate. It essentially has the same range as my big heavy SUV EC6 from a couple years ago. It doesn't seem to have made much improvements. At about 400 kilometers of range for about 90% of my battery during highway driving, I think it's okay, not bad. I would definitely like more range through better efficiency. At about 19 to 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers average, it's a bit thirsty. It seems like everybody wants more range on every EV. At least that's the common complaint I always see about EVs. They don't go far enough. However, with the abundance of battery swap stations in China, it's not really as big a deal as you might think. Now, if I had only a 75 kilowatt hour battery pack instead of 100, and if I had to rely solely on charging instead of on power swapping, then I think driving 1,000 kilometers in one day would be nearly impossible, especially with the comparatively slow charging speeds that NIO offers and that most Chinese infrastructure actually offers as well. From Guangdong province to Yunnan, I almost exclusively swapped on the highways while crossing the country. And while swapping 8 times during this journey, I only had one person ahead of me one time, which means that for most of my power swaps, they lasted for less than 5 minutes, which means I could go from whatever state of charge I had to 93% state of charge in less than 5 minutes. And this absolutely kills even the fastest of superchargers and the fastest of charging vehicles. Usually you'll find that when people recommend supercharging your car on a road trip, you should charge only up to 80%. And even on the fastest chargers, the fastest cars, this will take at least 15 minutes, if not longer. So on the way to Yunnan from Guangdong, I power swapped 3 times on the highway. I never waited in line, which means it took me 15 minutes total or less to add about 250 kilowatt hours of energy versus if I was fast charging one time for 15 minutes in a non-NIO vehicle, I would probably at best add about 70 kilowatt hours of energy at best in 15 minutes, which means I got over 3 times the amount of energy in more stops and less time. A massive win for power swapping on a road trip. But again, it comes at the expense of efficiency and range. The ET5 Touring's, let's say, not that great efficiency, of course, could be slightly mitigated with different tires. Another nitpick is the sound system. I believe it's the same sound system as the ET7. It's advertised as 7.1.4 with Dolby Atmos just like the ET7, but it seems slightly underwhelming compared to what I remember from the ET7, particularly the bass. I'm not sure why that is, or if it's just my mind playing tricks on me, but hey, there you go, a slight nitpick. Another one, entertainment options. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I personally do not give a rat's ass about watching movies or playing games in my car, but I know some people do, so I'll mention it here. The vertical screen makes displaying movies quite small, but of course you can make up for that with the AR glasses, which if you like AR glasses or VR, more power to you, but I do not like AR and I do not like VR. And I am very sorry, but I just don't. So that being said, NIO's AR solution is pretty cool. The screen is very crisp and very clear and very big and very bright. I don't really have anything else to say about it except this. With NIO, you don't really need entertainment options if you have access to many power swap stations, because from mostly what I see, again, people online, they're talking about playing games or watching movies. It's something to do while they charge their car for maybe 30 or 40 minutes. We just covered that you don't need to sit around and charge your car and kill time because you can power swap in less than 5 minutes. I never had a chance to sit around and charge my car and kill time. Power swapping, again, wins hands down over Steam games or over Netflix. My biggest complaint that I had with this car is the lack of a heads-up display as an option. In China, you're often going to find roads with many lanes and weird traffic patterns, like for example, a left turn from a right lane. With a heads-up display, I never miss a turn and I'm always in the correct lane. Of course, I could make do. You can add the navigation to the digital instrument cluster, which is right behind the steering wheel, which is a great thing to have, and it nearly makes up for the lack of a heads-up display, but I really do wish that this car had an option for a HUD. One other complaint, again, would be a lack of an option for an air suspension. It pains me to say it, but after driving a car with an air suspension, it can sometimes be a little bit hard to go back. Even though this car is more youthful, more sporty, more fun to drive than an ET7, and is much more affordable as an entry-level NIO, with an optional HUD and an optional air suspension, you'd have pretty much the perfect car for road tripping across a continent. Maybe in the future we'll have an ET7 Touring, and that would be like my dream car, but for now, we gotta stick with the ET5 Touring and its lack of HUD and lack of air suspension. Now that you've heard all this, how can this possibly be my favorite NIO? And maybe, in my opinion, even the best all-around EV, when it clearly lacks some features that others have. I'll tell you this much. It's my favorite NIO because it gets you into the NIO ecosystem at the most affordable price point possible, while still retaining everything great about NIO, from the great looks to the quality materials to the comfort, to the performance, and even more, it adds functionality. This car is like the Swiss Army knife of NIO. It's perfect for, let's say, a single guy to a family of 4. It's great as a daily commuter to a very killer road trip machine. It's a vehicle that works perfectly for camping. It's comfortable to sleep in, but it's also a car that you can take to the grocery store. You can load up with produce or take to Home Depot and load up with lumber. It's got plenty of space for multiple scenarios and multiple uses. Literally, you can take this car anywhere. Just look at my power journey video. It's big enough, it's powerful enough, it has enough range to take you nearly anywhere, mountains, beach, jungle, but it's also still small enough to fit on pretty much any road. Maybe not in the UK, but everywhere else. It is intelligent enough to drive for you, to park for you, and it also has all of the technology to assist you if you want to do it for yourself, drive for yourself, park for yourself, all that stuff. It has it. It remains fun for you to do it for yourself as well. Now, a NIO ES8 might have more space, it might have better suspension. A NIO ET7, has better materials, has a heads-up display. An ET5 original version might be a little bit sexier, but not one other NIO in the whole entire range can offer such a great combination of all of the great things about NIO in such a nice package and at such a low price point. Not only that, but you get access to everything that NIO offers, from NIO House to NIO Life to NIO Services to NIO Power Journeys to NIO Joy Partners, and of course so much more. So even though if you list out the specs, you list out the materials, the ET5 Touring is not the best in every single category, or maybe not the best in any category, but you put the entire package together and it's definitely my favorite NIO vehicle, and it would absolutely be my next choice of NIO if and when I choose to get one again in the future. What do you think? Which NIO is your favorite? Have you tried out a NIO ET5 Touring yet? If not, why not? When will you? And when you do, make sure you use my invitation code. Now, thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and to check out all the other NIO ET5 Touring videos that I have put up so you get more in-depth understanding of this car and of NIO as an entire ecosystem and entire product. Thank you. Goodbye.